Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Take 5. Yeah, I know you can't see the 5 because I'm holding up my ticket from opening day Greenville Drive last night against the Augusta Green Jackets. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to put this back up there. And what a great night for baseball it was. Perfect weather. The Drive played great. Hit 4 or 5 home runs, including one grand slam, won 11-5, something like that. And just a super night, sellout crowd. So thank everybody for coming. Now I need to say a couple of shout outs to my friends Barry and Don, who are on a mission trip to Croatia. They'll be gone a couple of weeks. Going to miss you guys, but thank you for being willing to do the Lord's work in Croatia and minister to the people there. Now, also on another sports-related note, we will get into the Word in just a second, but Road Warriors tonight. The series is now even. Elmira evened it up, so we've got to play 3 in a row here in Greenville. If we win 2 of them, we advance. So go Road Warriors. I will be at that game tonight as well. Big sports weekend for me. Now let's get into the Word of God. We've been learning about the kingdom in Matthew chapter 13, and we're in verse 47. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that was thrown into the sea and gathered fish of every kind. When it was full, men drew it ashore and sat down and sorted the good into containers, but threw away the bad. So it will be at the close of the age. The angels will come out and separate the evil from the righteous and throw them into the fiery furnace. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Have you understood all these things? They said to him, Yes. And he said to them, Therefore every scribe who has been trained for the kingdom of heaven is like a master of a house who brings out of his treasure what is new and what is old. Alright, the parable of the net, in my opinion, is basically just the same thing as the parable of the weeds. And we see Jesus giving a couple of illustrations of the same point. The parable of the leaven and the parable of the mustard seed were basically the same, and then the parable of the pearl and the parable of the hidden treasure were basically the same. And so I think the reason he does that is because he's a master teacher and he's got a mixed audience, so he's trying to connect with as many people in that audience as possible. And since a lot of the people in his audience were fishermen, he throws out a fishing analogy. He probably had a lot of farmers in that audience, or gardeners, so he threw out a weeds analogy earlier. So now he's connecting with the fishermen, but this point's the same. You've got a whole lots of different people in the kingdom. Some good, some bad, some righteous, some unrighteous, some true disciples, some not. And at the end of the age, is what he's saying right here, we're going to separate them all out. Just like when they would fish, they'd throw out a net and catch them all. And some of the fish wouldn't be any good. They'd toss them, keep the good ones. That's when it's going to happen at Judgment Day. Now, he's pretty much done with this series on all of these parables right here. And so he asked the disciples, he asked everybody listening, do you understand? And they say yes, they get it. And these lessons are pretty easy to explain and understand. So he says, look, if you understand this, it's like a scribe. And the scribes, remember, were the guys that translated the Word of God, and they also did a lot of teaching. You bring out old things and new. So you're not getting rid of the Old Testament. Now, we already covered that in the Sermon on the Mount. Okay? We're going to keep all of the moral law. But now you're understanding some new things about the kingdom of heaven. Things that have been hidden since from the foundation of the world, we learned earlier. So that's what it's like. It's like the master of the house bringing out some of his old stuff and some of the new. And don't throw away the old stuff. There's good, you old timers out there. God can definitely use you. You've had a lifetime full of experiences that some of us younger people, I call myself younger, can't use. And you young people, you've got the energy, you've got the fire, you've got the hope. And that's great. But continue to learn and study and build some experiences of your own. Anyway, be like the scribes that understand this stuff. Keep the old and keep learning some of the new things. Tomorrow, very, very critical lesson to understand why things happen to you sometimes or why things happen to others that it doesn't make a lot of sense. It's come back tomorrow. Going to be very interesting, I think, and the next couple days, as we see you on the next edition of Take 5.